Hi there, Sandra Parker here. So I wanted to share today that it's a Monday evening and it's been like a super hot day in London and most of the UK. And one of my clients shared tonight that she's on holiday. She's from overseas and she's in the UK, and she was talking about like going to a bar and a restaurant and seeing other people sitting outside having a good time and thinking that everyone's drinking alcohol and she's somehow missing out. And this comes up quite a lot in the summer. So there's a couple of things that I want to say is, first of all, alcohol will be all around you, right? It just is because it's part of our culture. So if you're sitting in a park in a summer's evening, or you're in like a pub beer garden, or you're sitting outside in a restaurant, or whatever you're socializing, remember in the summer people spend more time outside, right? So we tend to see more people socializing, and in the UK that means more people drinking. So we see more people drinking, and we tell ourselves a story that, you know, everybody there is drinking alcohol. And I remember chatting to this client and saying, you know, like if you went past a restaurant when people are sitting outside and they're all having a drink, what do you tell yourself? And she's like, well, everyone's drinking and I'm not. And I was like, well, hang on, like, have you stopped drinking liquid? And she's like, well, no, of course not. So she said, right, I'm not drinking alcohol. And it's like, okay, so you're not drinking alcohol, but you're still up for drinking some kind of liquid. And she said, yes. And I was like, so you're still up for eating food and drinking liquid and meeting up with your friends and having a laugh? And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, is it really true that every single person in that bar or restaurant or beer garden or picnic or whatever is drinking alcohol? And it's like, no, right? So here's the thing. We make assumptions about other people that fit in with our beliefs. And we do this all the time. So if we think that we are the only person in a restaurant not drinking, we will automatically scan for evidence. And anything that looks ambiguous, we will ignore. Anything that doesn't fit in with our narrative, we'll ignore. And anything that does, we'll latch on to. So if we see a bottle of wine at the next table, we'll say, see, I told you. Now, if we see a tall glass with something sparkling in it at another table, we might say to ourselves, oh, that's definitely a gin and tonic. In actual fact, it could be just a tonic, right? But we tell ourselves that everyone else is drinking alcohol. And I just share that with you because the great thing now is most bars have an alcohol-free selection, right? Now, it might not be huge, it might not be amazing, but you can pretty much get an alcohol-free beer in most places, and you can get some other drink. And if you're going to a picnic, you have quite a lot of choice in like a lot of supermarkets now that serve quite a good range of alcohol-free drinks. So think of you enjoying your summer. If you're newly alcohol-free, think of this as an upgrade, right? And if you're feeling like you've drank too much and it's Monday night, and because it was really nice weather, you were out all weekend, and you're saying, right, I better not go out this week, I've drank too much. What about going out and having an alcohol-free drink, right? What about just allowing yourself to enjoy the best part of going out, which is whoever you're with, especially, as I say, it's a nice day, enjoying a nice evening, enjoying the good weather, connecting with other people, having a shared experience, and you don't need to have the alcohol. And here's the great thing. I think of that as an upgrade, because if you can go out and enjoy yourself, and then you leave the table, you leave the bar, you leave the restaurant, right? And you are fully with it, right? You get to leave when you want. You don't need to stay until the bitter end, right? You get to leave before people start repeating the same stories again and again. So you pick the time to leave, which is quite a nice thing to do. And you might drive home, right? Or you might cycle home, or you might walk home, or get an Uber or whatever, but you have the choice. And then when you wake up in the morning, not only have you had a better night's sleep, but you actually remember the whole night. So if you're new to being alcohol-free, don't tell yourself a story that you're not going to enjoy the summer. What if the truth was you could actually enjoy it more? Any questions, let me know. I hope you're all having a fabulous day. Thanks.